Wayne County,
Salt Lake County,
Eligibility
Iron
Services,
County, Kane County.
This is
Workforce
Unplugged.
Welcome to Workforce Unplugged. I'm Nate McDonald, Assistant Deputy Director for the Utah Department of Workforce Services, and I am grateful to be here today. I have some amazing guests to be able to talk about some services that we have within our department and also some upcoming events. But I want to kind of just lead off a little bit in talking about our current status as a state. We just released our latest jobs report, and we are riding high at 2.8% unemployment. We continue to be at 3.0 job growth or higher. And just to be having such a long period of time where we're seeing such low unemployment, such high job growth, it's just, there's no wonder we're hearing from other states that, really, we have, we just came from a big conference and our executive director had other states coming up and just saying, Utah's the envy of other states and just how well we're doing. A big part of that is just because of how diverse our economy is. And so, but with that, we're talking to employers all the time. And employers are coming to us within this department, the Department of Workforce Services, and they say, how can we find skilled, talented, a hidden workforce? I keep hearing, where is the hidden workforce? Employers are having a really hard time finding employees right now, and employees that are committed, hardworking, and loyal. And that's something that we're just hearing over and over again. And that's why I'm really excited to have our guest with us today. Let me introduce him. I have Aaron Thompson. He is the program director of our Vocational Rehabilitation Services program. Aaron, thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thank you for having us.
And I have Leah Lobato. Now, here's why I'm excited to have Leah with us, because she is one person in this department that has a longer title than me. So here we go, Leah. It is the director of the Governor's Committee of Employment of People with Disabilities and Business Relations for our Utah State Office of Rehabilitation.
You got it.
I got it? Excellent. So people mock me because I have to say I'm the Assistant Deputy Director and Communication Director, but you beat me.
It's a long title.
So the reason why it's great to have both of you here with us is obviously working with Vocational Rehabilitation, the Governor's Committee of Employment with People with Disabilities. When I hear people asking, where is the hidden workforce? When I hear employers talking to us about, how they can find people who are loyal, committed to work and work hard and stay with them, I want to say, well, the hidden workforce. Have you ever worked with or looked to hire someone with a disability? And then there's so many positives, and I know you guys know this. But I know that there are opportunities out there for employers to find a hidden workforce in working with our Vocational Rehabilitation Office and helping people. And it just so happens that October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And that's why we really want to talk about this. So let's dive into it.
Great.
All right, Leah, I'm going to start with you. So let's talk about, really trying to help understand what it means when we say disability. What qualifies as a disability, and what segment of our population actually has a disability?
Great. So that question's one that we get asked all the time. So disability really is any mental or physical condition that substantially limits a major life activity. And that can be walking, working, speaking, self-care, hearing, seeing, interacting with others, and I'm sure I'm missing some of that list. But if you think about that, that's pretty broad. So we're talking disabilities that might be very visible, that you might see when you interact with somebody or notice when you interact with somebody, to disabilities you might never notice in an individual. Maybe a traumatic brain injury or a learning disability, or maybe it's that guy with the bum knee from playing football in high school who can no longer do some of the physical aspects of his job, who would never say he's a person with a disability, but might need accommodation or supports at work to continue doing some of the physical aspects of what he does. Disability is the only minority group that any of us could enter at any time. So I could leave here, get in a car accident, and the next time I go back to work, I could be using a wheelchair, or visit my doctor next week and get some results that then could lead to a disabling condition. So it's about 1 in 4 Americans who have a disability, and it will impact each of us at some point in our life.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I mean, just hearing that right now, I mean, it really means that, I mean, it's kind of eye-opening, no, because, I mean, you may not realize that it's neighbor, it could be the person next to you, and like you said, it could be you in the future as well. And so, so it's really neat for me to hear and understand and to learn the services and the supports and the programs that we have that can not only help people who have a disability, but also help employers who, that may, just know how to make certain accommodations where they can open the door of really finding some great employees for them.
And you also have federal contractors who have some requirements to recruit, hire, and retain about 7% of their workforce as individuals with disabilities. So they're looking for innovative ways to have people disclose disability or learn more about what disability is to help get that number so that they can continue to serve as federal contractors.
Ah, that's great. So, Aaron, I wanted to hear from you now. So, all right, the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation, you guys have staff really throughout the entire state.
That's correct. We are statewide.
Yeah. So, describe to us what some of these services and the programs and some of the things that you have to help individuals.
Yeah, one of the great things about the Vocational Rehabilitation program is it's an optional program. That means we have more than 20,000 individuals with disabilities who are coming to us because they want to work. And these are individuals who have diverse backgrounds in terms of their abilities, experiences, and their capabilities. I think oftentimes when people hear the word disability, they often think of the most profound or complicated situations. And those are people that we do help and assist, but a lot of people just need some short-term assistance in order to address their disability, make sure that it's stabilized. So when an individual comes to vocational rehabilitation, they meet one-on-one with the VR counselor. That counselor is going to take time to develop a relationship with them, do an assessment, and really identify what is their employment goal. What are we doing to develop a plan to help achieve that goal? So we have individuals who are attending training programs, those who may be ready to enter the workforce, but they may need assistance with assistive technology, any type of tool or advice or device that can help them be successful. And that could be like a wheelchair, a walking device or assistance, a ramp, a cane, or it could be how they utilize technology in a database system. So it's a bit of an example of the wide scope of what someone needs. And it's not always going to be a situation where they're needing assistance for a long-term plan with us. We make sure that individual is stable, that they've accomplished their goals, and we get them job ready so they can enter the workforce and be successful.
It's still relatively new for the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation to be with the Department of Workforce Services, it still just has stayed with me to this day. Like when you guys first moved over, and I went and toured Buffmeyer and met with the people in the assistant technology.
Yeah, our UCAT lab.
Yeah, and just seeing the amazing things you guys do to assist people in all different ways. It was really neat and amazing. And just, I don't think I've met anyone that works in your department that isn't someone that is very compassionate and just wanting to find solutions to help individuals that need any type of assistance.
And a lot of those solutions are low cost. I think when you bring up the topic of accommodations, people think that you're going to be spending thousands of dollars, but really we look at what's the simplest and best fix for that individual, and we do a lot of customized services to meet that person's needs and overcoming those barriers. So we have a very creative group of people over there with our Utah Center for Assistive Technology that can do a lot of brainstorming and problem solving about how they can help that person overcome barriers, not only with employment, but really integrating and being a part of their communities and being independent.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot, but not super hard. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a little break. I'm going to jump to Leah, but everyone loves a good story. So if you got an example or a success story that you can share of just how one of your team members have been able to really help someone. If you got some right now, hit it. If not, I'll come back.
I'll turn it over to Leah because I have a lot.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so Leah, so this is where I'm going to transition back over because, all right, great. We got vocational rehabilitation counselors that are out there working with individuals, helping them. You said 20,000 that voluntarily are participating in this program that want to work. So the next question is, great. What about employers? How are we working with employers to not only that are working with you, but how are we helping connect and really just connect those dots?
Yeah, so we have a variety of services that we provide to employers across the state. We do employer workshops in the spring and fall, and we've expanded those workshops across the state. We've had them in Logan, in Cedar City, St. George. We're happy to go to any area of the state where employers are interested in learning more. And in those workshops, we really are kind of giving you the fire hose of information about disability and employment and all the resources and supports that are available. So hopefully people take a little piece of that back and go, okay, we can start with this. We don't expect relationships to be perfect from the beginning. And one thing that we pride ourselves on in the business relations team is that we don't offend easily. We want people and businesses to come to us and ask us those really tough questions. We're not the ADA police. I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys did that, or you handled that situation that way. We want people to feel very confident to come to us and say, we've got this situation. We're not sure what to do. What advice, consultation, support, services, resources do you have to help us help our current employees or new employees be successful? And ultimately, that's what it's about, is how do we get you the resources and support to make sure that you have the tools to help people with disabilities be successful in employment. We also do our job fairs. So we have job fairs every April and October. So the next one will be October 8th. We have about 46 businesses who are participating in this next job fair. So great opportunity to connect, get your name out there, talk about the diverse workforce that you want to build, and meet quality candidates. And then individualized supports. Ultimately, when it comes to individuals with disabilities as well as businesses, the supports we provide are individualized. It can't be the same supports for every business or the same supports for every individual. So we have to make sure we're looking at what things are happening currently in that business, what is their current need, where are there gaps in employment, where do we need to provide support, and how do we make that happen? So there's a ton of things we can do. It's just a matter of sitting down with a business, talking through what's currently happening with them, and making sure that we pull all those pieces of the puzzle together to make sure they feel confident as they move forward to recruit, hire, and retain, and promote individuals with disabilities.
That's great. Now, don't think you're off the hook. Think about an employer success story. All right, Aaron, I'm coming back to you.
All right, I'm ready. I was reflecting on one of the recent success stories that we had. What I thought was really remarkable about this was a young woman who was on the autism spectrum. She didn't have verbal skills. She wasn't able to communicate her likes, her interests, and abilities. A lot of people made assumptions about, can she work? How can she participate in the workforce? So the VR counselor had to work with her support system, her parent, her teachers, to really identify what are her interests, what brings her joy. She expresses herself, it's just not in the way that everyone else may understand. So they did a really thorough assessment that we call discovery, really looking at those interest areas that excite her, that bring her happiness, because we want people to have meaningful employment. And then she loved working with animals. You could always see the smile on her face with her pets and other animals around her. So they approached the Utah Dog Park, and they currently didn't have a job, but the counselor and a community rehabilitation program provider met with them and said, what needs do you have? What's not being done by your current staff? So they call that job carving or customized employment, where they can create a position that benefits the employer, but it's also unique to that person with the disability. And the feedback from the client, the family, and also the employer, this was something that benefited them. There were a lot of tasks that weren't being completed, and you could just really see the change in her life. She was earning a competitive wage. She was a part of that work family, and that was a great success.
You know, as you started to describe this, it sounded familiar to me. And I believe we created a workforce win.
We do have that.
One. You know, and I'm just going to be completely honest. So the Department of Workforce Services, we call them workforce wins, and there are video success stories of clients that we have out there. And we did one about this individual. But I was just going to say that a lot of our, Office of Rehabilitation workforce wins, I mean, they're some of my favorites. It's really neat seeing the good work and just the impacts that not only this program is having on these individuals, but it's so neat to see the employers how it's benefited them and how they they come out and they're talking about how this has truly benefited their business.
Yeah, it's a true win, not only for the client, but that employer, the family, and for everyone involved. So that's what makes it a really strong success.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. Okay, Leah, tell me a great business success story. Business that has come in, they had questions, and you guys were able to help them and get them to a point where they're able to find some hidden workforce, some good talent.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about our Golden Key Awards. We do these awards every year. This year we happen to have them in August. So we have those links to the videos for this year's winners. And those are always great stories about how business connected, how they provided support, and how they moved forward. But a really great example of this was an individual who is now currently employed with Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs has been a great partner with us for a number of years. They host mentoring events for youth, so an opportunity for youth to come in and see what they're doing and how do I even think about maybe working for Goldman Sachs, or what do they even do at Goldman Sachs, right? How many of us think about Goldman Sachs and go, I have no idea what they do there? And they host those events. They also host a college mentoring event that we'll be looking at the end of October, doing another one of those events. And they've come to our job fairs consistently, even though sometimes their jobs might be jobs that seem like they might be more difficult to fill. And they do mock interviews at those events. So they offer an opportunity for our clients to sit down and get an interview where they're really giving them some good critiques about what they need to improve on an interview. We recently had a client who applied for a position there, came in for the interview, and just struggled a little bit in the interview. Come to find out, the individual is on the autism spectrum. And if anybody knows anything about autism, sometimes in an interview situation, certain things, social cues, eye contact, other things around those things may not come across very well, or in the same way that we think they should come across. Goldman reached out and said, hey, we interviewed this individual. We know he's a client. What do you guys suggest? We offered some suggestions of how to do some skill-based interviewing, did some coaching with the client, had him come back in, re-interview, and he was hired and has been retained for about a year now and has been promoted within Goldman Sachs. And every time I talk to our team and partners at Goldman Sachs, they mention how great an opportunity that was for them to break some boundaries within their organization, to talk about ways that they were doing things that might have created some situations where people's skills weren't really getting assessed in an interview, and to have somebody on their team that they find very valuable and are promoting.
Oh, that's so great. And I mean, this is just what it's all about. This is what I love about the Department of Workforce Services is the programs that we administer are programs that are set up to truly help individuals, families, and then even taking it to that employer level. I mean, we are working with employers every day in a number of different aspects. And this is one that truly makes a significant difference in people's lives on both the employer side and on the individuals and family side. So thank you both. Again, I want to reiterate, October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And it really is just an opportunity for us to build to, anytime we have these months, it's an opportunity for us to help build greater awareness of the opportunity for employers to hire people with disabilities, and the opportunity for them to work with the State Office of Rehabilitation, with our Vocational Rehabilitation program, and get out and visit with one of, if anyone out there hears this, and they know someone, they have a family member, or they have a neighbor, if they're a business owner, this is an opportunity to become engaged and to help not only other people, but to help yourself. And I think that's one of the great things. Anything else you guys would want to share?
I would just say the area of disability can sometimes be confusing and complicated, and that's why I'd always encourage anyone that has a question to reach out to the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation. We're here to be that support. Again, we help people with all types of disabilities, even students starting at age 14 to get them ready to complete school and enter the workforce. And we also help people who are already employed, but their disability may be struggling or causing barriers to them keeping that employment. So it's a wide spectrum, but we want to be that one stop for all of their information, supports, and resources.
Well, again, thank you both, and really thank you to your teams and for the hard work. And, please take that back. And I know that as a department, we're very grateful, and it's been an honor to have you guys join our department. You bring a lot to the table and really round us out and be able to serve the citizens of the state of Utah in almost every capacity. And so thank you both. And this wraps up our Workforce Unplugged.